Sherry.
Here we go. All right, look, I think we're live, people.
Hi.
Hey, everybody, happy Wednesday. Today is Hump Day, and it's episode, our producer in the back, who's Tracy Stein today, is being funny, but we are episode 36, Shirley, which is amazing. That's a lucky number, I think. I think we're good. I think it's coming up. That's my age. Hello. No, I'm 35. Who's kid? We already got a like, so it must be up and running. And today I have the gorgeous Shirley Stamper on.
Oh, you're so kind.
Oh my goodness, do you have a birthday princess swag on? Yes, I do, Eileen.
Yes.
That is courtesy of Shirley Stamper, and she also brought me these amazing cookies, right? Like, no, there's no flour in them. Oh my God, it's amazing. Hey Anna, how you guys doing? Like, they're so good. So we have to, yeah, so Shirley brought this for me for my 29th birthday. Yeah, okay, we'll just go with that. It's a lie. I can lie today. Thank you, Anna.
It's a birthday lie.
So Shirley was kind enough, when I thought about my birthday show, I'm like, who could keep up with me, maybe have a cocktail with me, certainly have as much energy as I do. And it was...
Cocktail? Not this early, please.
No, please. This is a lie. Shirley's gorgeous, Eileen says.
Happy
you look
birthday.
Beautiful. Thank you, baby.
Oh, thank you, Eileen.
And I said, Shirley Stamper's got the energy, so here we go. So, and what's awesome is that we are in the wine room at the club now.
Love this
room. Sounds quieter, right? So I would love y'all's feedback on this, because I know sometimes it's fun to hear all the energy out there, but this definitely is quieter and gives us like 100% attention, which, you know, I don't necessarily need.
We like that.
Okay, we totally like that.
We do like that.
So it's not.
Let's be honest, even though
Let's be honest. Are you going to a pageant, Ted? Yes, Royce, I am.
Yes.
Virginia loves the birthday sash. Thank you, Virginia. I appreciate that. So Shirley and I was trying to figure out how we met. Who did we meet through? Do you know?
There's so many people that we have in common.
We have so many people in common, but there had to be some. Was it Jason? Did Jason bring you? Or
I don't know if it was Jason Marks or Mary Tiffany.
Could have been. But it had to be at an event, right? Didn't we go to an event?
Oh, it had to be an event, and boom, there you were. And I just like, oh, I'm done.
And Shirley too. So anybody who is equally as, I don't know, we love people and we engage.
It all started with how you connect people, and I'm like, we must be related. And then it started from there. So somehow in the connection.
That's right, because you're a connecting person as well.
Love to connect.
So, and that's what you do, and we'll talk about that in a bit. So let's talk about your little story. Where are you from?
Kentucky.
She's from Kentucky. Can you tell? And then, how did you get into what you're doing now? But first, tell us a little bit about you, because I inferred it in the intro that I did. But you've got an awesome story that I think is inspiring. So share what you would like to share about it.
Okay, I'll keep it like short. Okay.
You keep it however you want. Tracy's laughing.
No, there's really so many things.
We love you, Leslie Lugo's on.
Oh, hi Leslie. I love her. She's the best.
She's awesome.
Little baker.
She is.
I came here from Kentucky because the disco craze hit around when I was in college, 1970.
I was going to say Shirley was 4 or 5.
75.
Wow.
In Kentucky when I was going to Eastern Kentucky University, and the disco clubs were kind of small there. There wasn't so much. And I came to Orlando with some friends for a party week and decided I had to be here. So I moved here and been here ever since. So as far as the catering company goes, started out with me selling Pampered Chef, which we still do. And
yeah, you're very loyal to that, which is awesome.
Yeah,
that's another thing that you are. You're definitely loyal to people and to causes.
So then we started the Pampered Chef. We got into Pampered Chef. Then we decided we wanted to reach more people, so then we started catering. But we were doing a lot with our church, and they were encouraging us to. The church family was encouraging us. You also do catering because you all love what you do. So the catering started. Then we started our products. The swamp salsa. Everybody knows me by my swamp salsa.
All right, so she's good. You're gonna have to. Oh yeah, she's lifting it up.
I'm jumping around. I know. So the swamp salsa, and then my husband John. This is him on the front. Covers his little caricature. We have our own line of spices, which are healthy. We have our oil. Yeah, there's no I in oil. Oil in Kentucky says oil. But this oil is the fresh produce. The fresh harvest that we get from Spain. That's where we were the last month over there.
Yeah, you stayed there a long time.
Wait, well, not too long, but just.
But it was awesome that you stayed there a long
out of the country. It's just a little much, but it was fun. A lot of fun.
Yeah, but all your pictures show that you were really embracing the culture because you love to travel, right? You love to come home. I get it.
I love to get.
We all do. We all love to travel, but it's nice to come home to where we're used to.
But 12 of those days from the month, we were on a cruise out of Barcelona, hitting all these little countries, and we met this judge and his wife. And a week later, we're staying in their home for 2 days when we went back to Madrid. I mean,
but that's you.
Who does that?
That's a testament to you and how you engage and embrace people.
John goes, we don't know these people. I said, well, this is a good way to get to know them. So we stayed in their home and became best friends. We love them.
Where does that come from? So how is it that because that's the one thing I think everyone would say, you're embracing and engaging, and you've never met a stranger. That's what I think I put on, or to know you is to love you. So where does that come from?
You know where I think
your background
came from, honestly, is because when I was a young teenager, I ran away from home. Imagine that. Didn't like the authority part of life. So I ran away and ended up in foster care, which literally changed my life.
How?
Because the judge ordered me into foster care because my mother said she couldn't handle me. I can't imagine that either.
That's a shock. I love you, but oops.
Stop it, Tracy. So I ended up in foster care, and it did literally change my life. I stayed in that foster home, and that has become my family. I mean, they're my family. I mean, over half of them live here now from Kentucky, because usually you turn 18 in foster care, and you leave. You're done.
Yeah, the service is
stepping stone in your life, and you're done. Well, they're my family.
How long were you in foster care?
I mean, it's just.
How long were you there?
Well, I was in foster care for just a few years as a teenager, but then I went to college, but it didn't stop there. It's just when I go back home, I go back to my foster home. That's my home. So there was Kim, Kathy, and Kevin. And Kim and Kathy was 4 and 5, and Kevin was in diapers, and he's a cop now, retiring in 2 years.
That's awesome.
I mean, they're my life. They're So I think because I went into foster care, they took me in as a teenager. They didn't know me, so I learned from there. I guess that's all I can think of.
So prior to that, though, so you go into foster care. Foster care is a tough place to be normally, right? Mm-hmm. Or even in the best of circumstances. I
was lucky and blessed.
You were lucky and blessed. Mm-hmm. So, but you go into foster care and you don't know what you're heading into.
No idea what's going on.
And so you get with this family, which is a blessing. We talked about all the blessings. Yep. But it's not just because of the money, which a lot of people go, oh, foster care parents are there for the money. Trust me, people, it's not for the money.
They still put up with me today, and they don't have to.
But what was it about that was different from what you were dealing with or what you had had before? What was great about it?
A lot of it was the discipline was done with love and caring.
Sure.
Not an ice tray full of ice and a rake, just a belt or whatever. It was done not from beating and not from screaming and yelling. It was done through love and caring and rewarding. So I learned discipline. I was getting F's in school. F's. I was thrown out. I was expelled. So I go into this school in foster care. In my first year, I was straight A's. National Honor Society. I was on.
And why is that? Because you finally felt the love and support. And structure.
Structure.
Yeah.
That's probably the big one.
Structure and positive reinforcement,
exactly.
Right?
Yeah. So
and I think people underestimate how powerful that is, but you're a testament to that.
That's huge. It's huge. And not just as a teenager. I think in marriages today. I think in relationships, with business relationships. I think when you have structure and boundaries is a big one too, and you trust each other, it's obvious. I mean, just look at my life. It makes a huge difference. I mean,
look where you're at now. Did you ever know? So when you were growing up, so you got to foster care, that was your godsend, your saving grace, right? That's how you feel, right?
Amen. Yes.
And then what made you decide to go into catering, because you approach things differently, in my opinion. So you cook, and everybody knows how amazing of a chef you are, and John is, and you all put all of this out, but you do it with love. There's no doubt about from anyone about what you do. So the swamp salsa is one of my favorites. It's all about love. The spices are about love. So everything but you don't just automatically go, I was in foster care, I had this amazing life, and then you jump here.
True.
There's a whole in between. So tell them a little bit about that.
I think what I think of as I hear you say these things is I love to cook because I like to cook healthy. I was raised with the understanding that your body is God's temple. So with that being said, I like to take sugar, to take carbs, to take some of the bad stuff out of foods and make them healthy. I don't like to cook out of boxes, cans, and packages. I like to cook from the dirt, bring the vegetables out.
Love that.
Cook them lightly with the good olive oil, put the good salsa on top of it. You don't need all the butter and all the sugar. So I like to try to keep it healthy in that aspect. But I think a lot of it is because I never had a lot of, there was no hugging and kiss goodnights and tucking in, and I didn't get all that.
Was that prior to foster care?
Oh, God, yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So when you go into this, that's a fascinating thing because they've done studies about that.
Mm-hmm.
They've done studies with animals and children where they don't get the attention, they don't get the hugs, and they are completely different human beings than those who do. So when you go into that, how do you respond when you get your first set of hugs or your first set of positive reinforcement? It's foreign.
Well, when I first went into foster care, like I said, my two foster sisters, Kim and Kathy, were like 4 and 5. My foster brother was in diapers. When we would go, just little things like going to church, both of them had to be on each side of me, and Kevin had to be on my lap. They fought over who was going to be sitting by me. At the dinner table, I only got 2 sides. So it was always like they would get into fights about who's going to sit by me. And there was 2 twin beds when I went into the foster home, and Kim and Kathy had their own bed. Well, when I came there, I was given 1 bed, and those 2 had to sleep in the other bed. And Mom would come in to wake us up, and would all 3 be in the same bed. Me in the middle, and them just hugging up.
I love that.
I'm sorry, but...
But how did you respond? So initially,
amazing.
Is it foreign? You go, oh my God, I've never had this before.
I didn't know how to accept it first.
Right, you didn't know how to accept it. I think that's so critical because if you're raised like that, you can't believe that people are that attached or emotional or can express that because you weren't taught that. Right. So you had to kind of learn, even though I believe it was in you to begin with, you had to learn how to accept that and then give it back.
Well, and it goes back a little farther too. I mean, Mary Tiffany, bless her heart, we both love her, and we know how
we love Mary Tiffany.
We love our Mary Tiffany.
Love Mary Tiffany.
But it goes back to even with being raised with 6 stepfathers. It goes back even like one stepfather would be nice and loving. The next one would be abusive. The next one would be. I don't even want to talk about that right now because I don't have enough time. I can't even go into that. But it was hard. It was definitely hard. So I think a lot of it goes to that. So when I went into foster care, I'm like, what's going to happen here?
Well, sure. It's the unknown again.
It's the unknown, absolutely.
Because there was no stability before. It changed every stepfather, every man or person that was in the house.
It all changed. So, but again, I was blessed, and it worked out fine. So when I turned 40 years old, just last summer, of course.
I was going to say it was yesterday.
Just last summer, of course.
I was 40. I'm 40 today.
Yeah. I decided that since I had never been married and had kids, and I think I did that because that was because I didn't feel like I could handle bringing up a child the way I was, and there was no guarantees. So I decided I don't want to ever get married or have kids. So I decided to have a foster home. So I had 9 teenage girls in my Winter Park home all at one time. So I was able to give back to them. And the reason I had 9 is because the way I was with them and the way we did as a family unit, because you're only supposed to have 2. I was only licensed for 2. Foster care brought me 9 within 2 months. So that was a little crazy, but I had them all in my house. We had bunk beds. The state bought them. Had to have them. So because I knew, because really, honestly, I'm still a young teenager inside. It's just like the drinkers. If you stop drinking, you still can envision tasting that drink. That's what I equate it to. So I'm still really a teenager. My foster mom says it best at Christmas time because I get so excited, mostly about giving other people stuff. But she says, you're always going to be 15 years old to me. And There's a lot to be said about that.
No, but I think that that's what happens. So we're in that place, and that's how we react to people. That's how we react to stress. And so if you have to kind of accept the fact that that's where you're at. I'm still the, I don't know, 5, 6-year-old boy in a lot of things, because PTSD we both suffer from, which has nothing to do with being a veteran, has to do with being abused. And so you're in that, and then that's where you revert to. And you go back to that. And so that's sort of where your point of reference is, and then you have to learn as an adult. All right, so I understand that's where I'm at, but I know what I need to do, not with that person, but the other person that I am. And so it's a constantly changing thing. But I think a lot of people suffer with PTSD from abuse, depression, anxiety from what happened in their childhood, and they don't know how to get out of it. They don't know. They didn't have, like, I had somebody who helped me. You had your foster mom and your foster family.
And Mary Tiffany.
We both love Mary Tiffany.
Mary Tiffany.
And we were able to escape that the best that we could. It's still there. I mean, you can't ever get rid of it.
I've learned from Mary. It never goes away.
It doesn't.
You just have to learn how to deal with it. And I'll tell you something very basic that helps me on a day-to-day basis. When John and I are ready to, blow punches. We're catering, we're stressed, we're doing 3 events a day. He's flipping a house during the day and runs home, and I'm not going to say it's easy, but we stop. And we see that because a lot of his trauma started, and I know what age it was, and he knows what age mine was at age 7. So we go back we see each other as that person in that trauma that they were in, and it softens everything.
And
it's amazing how that works.
That comes from your work with Mary.
It absolutely does.
And I think that Mary's amazing, so we're promoting her, but we should. She's absolutely amazing.
I didn't know that's what that was about today.
But that's an awesome statement. So if you're not, because what happens, you get in the arguments, you get in these discussions, you get in this, you're foaming at the mouth.
You've got to remember where that came from.
Yes, and you need to know where that person is right at that moment.
Absolutely.
And you think they're there with you then, but they're really dealing with the person that they were at that point where everything started to go south.
Absolutely.
And that's their point of reference. And I think that that's so powerful to be able to stop you all, because it took a while, right? You guys had to go through.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's not.
We went through getting divorced, and we got married again. And we almost got a divorce again, and then that's when Mary came into the picture, and it's just amazing how if you use these practices that she teaches you, you can get through these things. You don't have to throw in the towel. That's so easy. That's why there's so much.
Well, and I think that's what happens in my opinion, in today's society, is we're very disposable. It's like, whatever, it's too much work, I don't want to deal with it. And this isn't just millennials. This is all of our age group.
It is. It's
TV
everybody.
And media teach us that you can get divorced 750 times and marry somebody else, and then it's all hunky-dory and it looks good on TV.
Yeah,
and that's not the case. And so you have to put the work in, but how awesome that you were given the tools. Also awesome that you accepted the fact that you needed the tools, and that's what happens. People don't realize that they need the help, or they feel like it's a weakness if they ask for it.
Right.
And I understand where their thought process is, but I think in this day and age, you can't just continue to give up. How many relationships can you go through where the outcome's the exact same? So I just think that's powerful. You have to want it bad
enough to fight for it, I think. You have to really want to change, and you have to really want things to work out, because if you don't, they're never going to work out. But
you do. You have to want it to work out. And if you don't want it to work out, what I would encourage people to do is, why? Why don't you want it to work out? Is it not worth it? Is it an abusive relationship? Is it too much like you were in before? Or is it just because you don't have the tools to figure out how to make it work?
Yeah.
And that's where I think a lot of people are. PTSD is no joke. You're right, Leslie. Thank you, Lisa. Appreciate it. Happy birthday.
We got some great peeps, don't we?
We have great people.
I'm sitting here seeing all these things, and I'm
so
like,
awesome.
It's so nice to have
it's such a blessing to have.
See, that's what it's all about. Do we not just get look at my goosebumps?
I know.
It's just like I
cried 3 times this morning.
I love
people
love.
Texting me and stuff. Seriously, it's.
I love it. I just love it.
But we are in a group of people that do that. We emote, we give back, we help each other, we support each other. We still have our problems. Don't get me wrong.
Not me. That would be tough.
That's totally me. You know it's me. Hello.
Love makes the world go round. That's what I like to say.
It does, but we have to. I feel like we're much more forgiving because we've been forgiven, and then we also are in a place where we go, you know what? They're dealing with stuff that might be similar to what we dealt with, and they haven't found the tools. They haven't found the Mary Tiffany in their life. They haven't found that. And so you have to be, I feel like, very cognizant of that and very forgiving and trying to help them and hold your hand out. It doesn't mean they're going to accept it. It just means that we're actually giving them an opportunity to change it if they want to. So talk about food, because I love your food. Love your food.
Well, before I talk about food, I would like to say...
Oh, yeah, please.
The Golden Gala is coming up from Florida Hospital. And guess who the entertainer is? Would you like to announce?
Josh Groban. Whoa! Josh Groban.
Yes, it's going to be...
He sings like me.
He's amazing. November the 19th. It's on a Sunday. It's out of Disney. It's an awesome, awesome event.
Absolutely.
And we all know how much money we need. Well, not how much, but we need a lot of money for kids that are beating cancer. That's what it's all about this year. So if you can come to the event, awesome. If you want to donate, awesome. But yeah,
how do they reach you?
I'm passionate about that because I'm on the board there, and I just love what they do.
I think what they do is amazing. And that event, is it still at which hotel?
It is at the
Contemporary?
Granada Springs.
Oh, it's at Granada Springs.
They do a beautiful job for us out at Disney. A lot of work goes into that. The girls are putting baskets together literally as we speak.
So you'll take donations for that?
Absolutely, always for anything.
So tell them about food, because food's like that's it. That's a big part of your life.
I said before, but our swamp salsa is probably my most passionate thing. The oil is probably next. But the swamp salsa has no sugar, no preservatives, and no heat in it. It's all organic. The black
How did you create that?
They're wonderful.
Like, what was your thought process?
Because there's so many. I have so many vegans and vegetarians that are friends. Can't get them to eat a steak, no matter how hard I try. But this is good for them because they get kind of tired of eating the same food all the time. And
that's
so
correct.
It ended up that people that eat
Nikki
any
Damdar,
kind of food
we love you.
this. It goes good on top of anything. But you can purchase it at the Meat House in Winter Park. They've had it in their store for 5 years since they first opened. And it did win People's Choice Award, Taste of Winter Park. That's stamped on the front. But it's also at Lucky's Market, and we know we have one opening up at...
Winter Park, right? It's coming.
It's going to be at Orange in Michigan. We're so
yes,
the sign
that's right.
just went up.
So Eileen Winfrey wants to know what link to buy, and then Eileen says...
Oh, Eileen wants this one.
She wants to know how to buy the tickets, and then she said, if you haven't bought the swamp salsa, go out and purchase it today. It's the most amazing thing you've ever eaten, and I would agree. You look at it and you go, that's not salsa, but it's completely delicious.
It's yummy. It's delicious.
And people use it in their eggs and their steak, and they use it for a lot of things.
I tell people, if you're new to this oil, because it's 100%, it's from one first cold press. Tracy's grabbing his heart over here because it's
so good, right?
It's good to rub it in your hair for a conditioner, rub it on your skin. You know your skin is the biggest organ in your body. Why don't you put the good stuff on it? So rub it all over your own self. Well, maybe that's what I should have said.
Lord, no.
But no, it's
totally fine.
It's such good stuff. But fry an egg in this. Once people fry an egg in this, they are sold. Use it as salad dressing.
I love that. And they can, so give them the website of where they can go to buy things.
JohnandShirley'sCatering.com.
And we will post that after the show is finished.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely. We'll share it on social media.
Happy birthday.
Yay. Oh.
Gotta go.
There it is.
We're celebrating our birthday today.
We are. We're celebrating our birthday. What are we at?
Where are we at? How many minutes?
We're at 24 minutes. I gotcha. I'm on top of it. I'll let you know.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
We had to have a toast.
But we have to talk about your food a little bit. We still have a few minutes.
Okay.
Talk about your catering, because you do a lot.
Okay.
I mean, a ton. And you have built a business. One of the things I promised people you would talk about is that you've built a business and a brand, but you haven't done it just in the, I don't know, the kind of businessy way. You do so much for the community.
Well, I'll tell you what I do. A lot like what you guys do, you two, is you connect other businesses. And you have to do it from passion that you really love doing it, because people know when you're trying to get their business. Let me tell you, I've been around that whole deal for it.
Totally agree.
On both sides of it. You have to really be passionate about connecting other people to help their business grow. You do that, and it's going to come back to you. Do you think God's going to forget when you do something today and tomorrow on 3 things a day? He's got it all.
You're planting
when it's your
the
turn,
seeds.
You're going to get it. You're planting seeds all over. And when it's your turn to get a
planting
crop,
seeds without expectation. I think a lot of people...
Please, you got to do that. That's so important.
What I feel like people are like, well, I went out to a networking event and I helped someone. Yeah. And then all of a sudden they don't understand why they don't have $100,000 in business.
Why didn't I get booked for this
But
weekend?
that's not what it's about. So if you go into it with that thought process, I feel like that's the opposite of what you should be doing. Yes, you're always going to be disappointed and you're never going to get where you want to. You just have to plant the seed and do the good things.
So we started it by going to people's homes and doing free dinner parties for 8 people. And people are like, how can you do that? Well, if John and me would go to a nice dinner, it's going to cost about the same amount of money for us to go to dinner as it is to feed 8 people. So to me, it made sense to me. Let's go feed 8 people. That's 8 people that's going to learn about our products. We take all of our products to the shows. We cook them a nice dinner. And we got to eat dinner too. So we eat dinner with them. So we've made new friends. We've showed our products. And that's how we get a lot of our business. Just people, oh, well, they gave us a free dinner. Let's have them cater this or that or whatever. So that's how we did a lot of it, and we do a lot of volunteer stuff.
You do so much for the community,
but
and I think people
love
need
that though.
You do. You have a heart for it, but I think that if we could get more people engaged in the charitable, philanthropic community stuff,
so much
they would get so much out of it, but they feel like there's a cost to it.
No.
Well, there's a basic business cost, but it's so out.
But the
reward's insane, and I think that we need to hear that more. So you're a great example.
Are you
of that.
familiar with Stephanie Bowen? She has the One Heart for Women and Children.
Yes. Amazing.
Another great organization.
Agreed.
We make food. We'll go down and go with her to actually serve it to homeless. We walk under I-4 up and down the street with meals packaged in a bag and hand it to people. If you do that just one time, people say, what do you get out of that? How can you do this so much? Do it with us one time.
Agreed.
Only one time. That's all you got to do. If you don't get that in your heart, then I'll just pray harder for you. That's all I can say.
I agree.
Is it not amazing? If we could capsule that.
I agree.
Please, it's just when they look up to and they thank you, they are so genuine, so genuine.
They are and that's what happens.
So there's a lot of organizations,
and you do
like that.
so much. It's not just that organization.
I know, but there's a lot that just came to my mind.
But how easy is it? So occasionally, and we're almost out of time, but I want to talk about. So Shirley will post about swamp salsa or the olive oil or the oil or anything like that, and it takes like 3 seconds to share. But she's got such a gratitude for that. I think that the more grateful you are, this is my personal opinion. I don't care what your religious beliefs are. I think gratitude does so much for you in your business when you're grateful for the people.
Anybody that shares it, give me a text or a message on Facebook or email me your business. I'd love to post your business. I'm all about giving back. I mean, let's help each other. Why not?
We should do that more often. All right, you were amazing. So we're going to give, it's johnandshirleyscatering.com, right? But we're going to give all that when I post it again. Let's hope is the olive oil at Lucky's Market as well?
It's at Lucky's Market at 50 in Alafaya right now.
And that's where Eileen lives, out that way.
For the Winter Park Chamber, the Autumn Art Festival, downtown Winter Park. It'll be there. It'll be at the Winter Springs October Festival. It'll be Taste of Oviedo this year. And we'll be at the Taste of Castleberry. We'll have it there. And we do free samples. It's amazing.
It's so delicious. Yeah. You're lovely. I couldn't have picked a better guest to come on today.
And it's happy birthday to Ted.
You were amazing. I knew somebody who would have a great story, and I wouldn't have to pull it out of you, and I appreciate that so much.
I could keep talking. Love it.
I know you could, and we're already at 29 minutes. Can you believe how fast that goes?
And I was worried about what we was going to talk about all this
time.
I
knew we were going to be fine. Hello. We could just talk like we're talking.
If I could end with anything,
please
tuck people in. I know it sounds silly, but when you tuck someone in at night, it helps them to go to sleep better. It helps you to go to sleep better because you did it. I mean, even something as little as like our good friend Kelly McDavid. When she spends the night, because she lives so far away, when she comes into town, I tuck her in, give her a little kiss on the cheek, and tell her I love her and good night. And she says her day the next day is amazing. She sleeps like a baby, even with the frogs out in the koi pond out the window. It's just tuck somebody in. I mean, go next door and tuck your neighbors in. What the heck? Let's start a
check on people.
Yeah,
check on people.
Show the love and you'll get the love. You want the love? Show it.
Love you to pieces.
Love you too.
You're amazing. All right, so
thanks for
we're going to have our friend and producer hit the close button first.
Oh, he's so good at this.
And we love you guys so much. We'll see you tomorrow.
Have a nice day, everybody.
Love you, love you, love you. Thank you for all the
love each other.
Wow, birthday wishes. And hit finish.
Bye. He's hitting the button.
One time. There it goes. Got to hit it with all your, like you have fingerprints. Not the ones you got